Hi, this is Randy from Friday's Golf, and welcome to what I hope to be a new segment here on the channel called Mental Breakdown. Now let me explain the name. Here recently, out of sheer boredom, I've been posting some of my old videos to Instagram. And in doing so, I realized that a lot of my new followers or new subscribers have not seen some of this content. Now what I plan to do in this segment is go back and watch with you some old content that I've made and kind of break down the video for you. You know, what inspired it, how it was created, and kind of some side stories that went into creating that content. Without further delay, I want to introduce the first ever installment, and this week's video is based around really a video that started it all for me, which is Turbulators. Just hang in there, okay? In today's video, we're gonna dive into Turbulators. Now I'm gonna be pausing the video a lot to talk, so if you just wanna watch the content by itself without me blabbing, there'll be a link down in the description below. Please go and watch it. But without any further delay, let's have a mental breakdown. Going into YouTube, type in Turbulators. Point of pride, when I type in Turbulators, it's the first video to come up. Maybe that's because I've watched it 1,000 times, but nevertheless. Real quickly before we start the video, I want to give you a brief background of where the inspiration to make this song came from. Now, it was a friend of mine, Luke McDonald and his brother Ben were in a hitting bay where I worked, and I was showing them the G30 and referencing the Turbulators, and they made the joke of how that sounded like regulators from Warren G. And then we kind of started talking about, oh, it'd be funny to make a parody song based on that. But the more I thought about it, I was like, I just write something original. And they're like, yeah, right. And I'm like, challenge accepted. So I actually wrote this song to prove two friends of mine wrong that I could actually rap. Kind of. Okay, here we go. Okay, have to pause it right away. R Rabbit and Q-Tip, those names that I gave Quentin and myself, R Rabbit was just from 8 Mile. B Rabbit was Eminem's name in that movie as far as his character's nickname, so I just went with R Rabbit. Not a whole lot of creativity there. Now Q-Tip, on the other hand, pretty much the same thing. His name is Quentin, and I was like, a Q-Tip is a funny household product, and I thought Q-Tip was kind of actually creative. I come to find out that I did not do my research here, and Q-Tip is actually one of the MCs that makes up A Tribe Called Quest, and I learned out the hard way that he's a very famous and existing rapper, so I quickly changed that later down the road. But yeah, Q-Tip. Let's keep going.
G30 drivers got turbulators, got turbulators. The G30 drivers got...
Sorry, that chain around my neck, I actually made that the night before we shot this video in the shop. I took a demo head out of the cart, and we had a chain that kind of separated the fitting bay from the shop. I just took that down and fastened it around there and kind of put it together. So yeah, I actually made that necklace right before we shot the video.
Turbulators, got turbulators. The G30 drivers got turbulators.
You see Quentin's just awkwardly walking around in the background back there. This kid, you have to understand that I knew him, I mean, probably a month before we shot this video was the first time I ever met Quentin. He was not the first person I actually chose to be in this video with me. I actually asked a friend of mine to be in this video who I thought would be perfect. He could not make it. He's been on the channel before. His name's Ryan, but he couldn't make it. So Quentin was my backup, and probably one of the most clutch backups ever to be called in last minute. So
the G30 drivers got turbulators,
bad dancing.
See you later. I got the matte black finish on top. I got the TFC shaft that don't stop. I got the toke wrench, you know it's gonna pop. Well, you can pick one up at the pro shop.
Okay, so if you watch the video and pay attention from here on out, Quentin heard this song literally the first time the night we showed up to shoot this. So he knows none of the words. So I think he did a good job of like kind of trying to follow along, but if you watch him sing, he knows none of them. He kind of just knows the last word and just waits for that to show up because I gave him no preparation time for this, so that's not his fault. Okay, so let's keep going.
The G30 drivers got...
Sorry, I'm stopping this video so much. This shot right here is probably the most iconic as far as people referencing when they've watched the video. They love the baby powder scene. This was not meant to be. I didn't intend for me to blow baby powder over the top of the driver. I actually had bought a small fan, and I was pouring the baby powder down and trying to blow it with this small fan to get that effect. and the fan wasn't powerful enough. So I'm like, I'll just, I guess, blow it over the top of the driver, which just happened to work out and be probably one of the most referenced scenes in the whole video. So.
Turbulators got turbulators, got turbulators. The G30 drivers got turbulators.
That mustache, so gross.
See you later. Now people always asking me why my club head speed is so high. Well, it's the turbulators, I can't lie.
The sound quality of this music video, like, I don't know if people knew that I recorded this. I wrote this song and I made the beat myself. Every single thing that you've ever heard in a Fried Eggs Golf video, I've made and recorded and played myself. So this beat right here, very simplistic. I made it on a beat pad and then kind of took it into a music editing software and then recorded vocals in on top of that. It's just very cheesy. It just, like, I recorded the vocals into my cell phone and it kind of gave it, I don't know, kind of an interesting sound. I kind of got lucky there. I didn't really know what I was doing at all. But yeah, this is just pure amateurism.
They make my ball fly just so fly. Hit it! The G30 drivers got turb.
That right there, that's a production trick right there. If you didn't know, like, you'd use it a lot in like fighting movies. If you want the impact to seem harder than it is, you just put a little powder or dust on whatever it is you're hitting, and when you hit it, it kind of leaves that trail like it really got smoked. But that was just a little sprinkle of baby powder on top of the ball there.
Laters got turbulators, got turbulators.
More bad dancing.
Drivers got turbulators, got turbulators. Hit it! He gonna break it down for me. A drag is the type of friction across.
Now that right there, that is actually the equation for drag. I did my research on this because I wanted this part of the song because it was so ridiculous. I wanted this part to be true. And my explanation of what drag is, that's pretty much a carbon copy from, I think it was Wikipedia that I used. Also, don't use Wikipedia when doing research. It's not scholarly.
Awesome moving body where this problem opens the door for a brand new technology. And the scientists at Ping, I promise they ain't trying to bore us by putting fins on the driver that looks like a stegosaurus.
No, this is a common misunderstood line in the song. People I've seen have quoted it. They'll say, put things on your driver that look like a stegosaurus. It's actually put fins on your driver that look like a stegosaurus. And yes, I did draw that stegosaurus freehand.
Now the method to the madness is the fight against resistance to the K-flow separation, man, to maximize your distance.
Accurate.
Power's in the science is in the club is in your bag is in your the trunk is in your car, drive your car to...
Those are some really creative lyrics right there, just explaining where everything is at. Okay, anyway.
The T and hit the G30 driver, man, then you gon' see it. The G30 drivers got turbulators, got turbulators, got turbulators. The G30 drivers got turbulators, got turbulators.
This was the most awkward part of making this video because, like I said before, I hadn't known Quentin that long and I only knew him through work. The music that we're listening to, I mean, we had it playing through some speakers, but it's not like as loud as it is in the video. So you're kind of dancing awkwardly to this quiet music. And my wife is the one who ran the camera for us in this. And we're just sitting there, me and Quentin and Brian, who you've also seen in other videos, and my wife, and we're just dancing real awkwardly in front of my wife and basically two people I didn't know that well. So hats off once again to Quentin because, I mean, it's not easy to walk into a situation like this and pull off this performance. So good job.
See you later.
Solid ending right there. That's another real heavily referenced part of the video is making it rain with the golf tees. That was intended from the get-go. I brought those tees with me specifically for this shot, and I think that it was pulled off wonderfully. Is there any more? I don't think there is. Make it rain. Oh, walk away at the end. Fade. Yeah. So that was, oh stop, don't play again for crying out loud. So this wraps up Turbulators. Now before we conclude the video, I do want to just talk briefly about some things I might have left out. For one, creating the song itself was easily the hardest part of this video. Sitting down and making a beat, that's really difficult for me because I'm not really a musician. But making the beat, once you have that and you write that first hook, your chorus, everything else kind of falls into place. And I know I get a lot of people telling me they want to see more music videos. It's hard. It's really hard. And another thing you might not know about this video is that after I posted it, it sat out there idle for like 2 or 3 weeks. It got no traction, no one was watching it, and I was like super bummed out because I was like, I thought it had some substance. I thought it could potentially go viral. It wasn't until like, I don't know, I think it was about 3 weeks later, I get a notification on Twitter that Bubba Watson retweeted it. And then of course after that, it just kind of made its way around as far as going to different golf publications. I remember going to, I think it was golfdigest.com, and you know, they have the scrolling banners on top. It was Barack Obama, Tiger Woods, and then Quentin and I right in the middle. And that was just, that was really cool. I really appreciated that. It was really fun to kind of see that take off and really make Fried Eggs Golf what it is today. That wraps up this episode. This was, as I stated, the very first installment of Mental Breakdown. Please let me know what you thought of it down in the comment section below. And also, if you did enjoy it, maybe tell me what video you want me to break down next. Thanks as always for watching. Please thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I will see you later.
Let me tell you all a story now about the carnival. It's quite bizarre though, yet not so wonderful.
Can you see the cards though? No, like
Oh, right there? No.
Okay.
Why? Don't pull them out. This isn't a magic show.